You are born into the warrior caste. It is a misfortune. Music, it is a life sentence. Your path is to serve and to die young. You have no childhood. At age 5, you are handed a wooden bakkin. Pain is your teacher. Tears are a stain on the clan's honor. At 15, you undergo the jinpuku ritual. They shave your forehead. It looks hideous, but it keeps the helmet from slipping in the heat of battle. Practicality above all. Your armor, lacquered plates bound by silk cords. It is beautiful, but it weighs 25 kilograms. In summer, you boil inside it. Your kabuto helmet. The higher your status, the more absurd the horns. The point is to ensure the enemy sees you from a mile away. Music. The minpo mask, adorned with bristles and fangs, masks your terror and shields your face from blades. The grin of a demon. Music. You think the katana is your primary weapon? That is a myth. The katana is a sidearm, a backup on your belt. Your true weapon is the Yumi longbow. A samurai is, first and foremost, a mounted archer. You kill the enemy before he can close the distance. If the arrows run out, you take up the yari spear. Reach wins battles. A long pole beats a short blade. The physics of war. Your battle, music, horse, you expect an Arabian steed. The reality, a shaggy pony. It is hardy, but short. You serve for rice. Rice is both sustenance and currency, the koku. A single portion is just enough to keep you from starving. You have the legal right to strike down a peasant for insolence. It is a good way to test your blade, but the paperwork afterwards is a nightmare. Bushido? That code of honor won't be invented until much later, during the long years of peace. Right now, there is only one rule: survive and win. Your business is heads. Take a head, collect a reward. No head, no pay. This is a Shigeru bookkeeping. The peasants with spears are numbered in the thousands. You are the commander, they are the fodder. Your job is to drive them to the slaughter. Loyalty? If the enemy offers a higher price, you switch flags in the heat of battle. That isn't treachery, it's politics. The daimyo's castle, a labyrinth of traps. Nightingale floors that chirp when stepped on. Hidden embrasures, tangled corridors, paranoia set in stone. Your wife is the daughter of your lord's rival. A marriage of cold calculation. She runs the household and is trained to gut a spy with a naginata. War begins. You pack more than a sword. You bring spare sandals, rice, rope for captives, and a medical kit. March. The roads are atrocious. Rain turns the paths to sludge. You walk on foot, saving your horse for the charge. The romance is gone. A military camp isn't a parade. It is the stench of thousands of unwashed bodies, manure, and wood smoke. Your home is a folding screen. Before the clash, you scent your helmet with incense. Why? Because if the enemy takes your head, it should smell pleasant. Etiquette. A battle doesn't start with a duel. It begins with a wall of shields and archers. You stand in the third rank and pray to the Buddha. The whistle of incoming arrows. They tear through cheap Shigeru armor like paper. Your expensive suit holds firm, for now. The collision. Spears shatter. There is no elegant fencing. You simply thrust your point into the enemy's face until he drops. Your spear breaks. The enemy is too close for a music sword. Now, it's armored wrestling. Jiu-jitsu, snap his joints. The enemy is down, wheezing. You draw your tanto and drive it into the gap in his helmet. This isn't murder, it's work. You saw off the head. It is grueling. The vertebrae are tough. Blood drenches your hands. But that head is worth a sack of rice. To ensure the trophy isn't stolen, you tag it with your name. Looting among allies is common. In the evening, the head viewing ceremony. You wash your prize and comb its hair. A handsome head. A satisfied daimyo. The general inspects the trophy. This is a common soldier, he barks. You receive a hollow word of praise when you wanted land. __. At night, the peasants creep onto the field. They finish off the wounded and strip the corpses. For them, war is harvest time. A moment of respite, the tea ceremony. You kneel for an hour until your legs are numb and your back aches. You cannot move. It is torture. No weapons are allowed in the tea room. Here, the fates of entire clans are whispered. A quiet murmur here is deadlier than a war cry on the field. Intrigue. A ninja? You think it's a man in black pajamas? No. It's the gardener, a monk, or a filthy beggar. You never see them coming. Ninjas don't fight fair. They torture rice granaries at night. Hunger breaks an army faster than steel. They listen even in the latrine. You go to relieve yourself, and a spy waits beneath the floorboards with a spear. The most shameful of deaths. To keep from drowning in the carnage, you meditate. Zen. Emptiness. There is no death. There is only the path. You are warrior and poet. Before the end, it is customary to write a farewell haiku about falling cherry blossoms. Beautiful and tragic. Your clan is wiped out. You are now Ronin, a waveman, a wanderer without a master. You are despised, yet feared. Freedom is just another word for hunger. You are a Ronin. Your stomach is your only lord. You make umbrellas or teach children just to eat. You become a mercenary, guarding caravans or shaking down debtors. The sword that was meant for honor now serves the coin. 1543, the Portuguese arrive. Namban, southern barbarians. Long noses, foul clothes, and strange tubes in their hands. They bring the teppo, the arquebus, the thundering stick. The samurai laugh. Is this a weapon for a warrior? They laugh too soon. A daimyo buys 2 guns for a mountain of gold and hands them to his smiths. Copy them. A year later, we had thousands. You try to fire one. The recoil bruises your shoulder. The smoke stings your eyes. The roar is deafening. There is no aesthetics here, only death. The matchlock. You must keep the cord smoldering. If it goes out, you're just a corpse holding a useless iron rod. If it rains, throw the gun away. Wet powder doesn't ignite. The archers mock you. It takes 10 years to train an archer, but only 2 days to train a peasant with a gun. Armies swell. War becomes cheap, mass-produced. Oda Nobunaga, the Demon King. He was the first to grasp the power of the gun. He tramples tradition. He intends to unite Japan through fire. 1575, Nagashino. Nobunaga builds a fence. A wooden palisade against the legendary Takeda cavalry. Cowardice? No. Calculation. Takeda believes in the wind, the forest, the fire, and the mountain. His cavalry charges, certain they will sweep the infantry aside. They are naive. 3 lines of marksmen. First rank, fire. Second rank, ready. Third rank, load. A relentless gale of lead. A conveyor belt of death. Great sword masters died in the mud before getting within 50 meters of the enemy. Spirit lost to chemistry and physics. You walk up to a general's corpse. His legendary breastplate, worth an entire village, has a tiny hole in it. Lead is cheaper than honor. Now, a samurai isn't the man who fences best, but the one with the most gunpowder. War has become an industry. Bullets pierce wood, castle architecture evolves. We build cyclopean stone walls. Osaka, Himeji. Cannons. Kunikuzushi, the province destroyers. They rarely hit their mark, but the thunder terrifies the enemy into submission. Some daimyo seek baptism, the Karishiden. They wear crosses over their kimonos because Jesus grants them trade discounts with the Portuguese. Nobunaga is betrayed and killed. Toyotomi Hideyoshi takes power. A former peasant turned ruler of Japan. Social mobility at a godlike level. Hideyoshi fears the very ladder he climbed. The sword hunt. Weapons are stripped from the peasantry. You are now the elite. They are unarmed cattle. Hideyoshi descends into madness. He wants China, but first, he wants Korea. You sail across the sea into the unknown. A samurai is a land warrior. On the ships, you are seasick. Your armor rusts in the salt air, and horses break their legs in the holds. Hell waited for us at sea. Admiral E. Sun-sin and his turtle ships. Iron roofs bristling with spikes. Our bullets bounce off them. Transporting heads across the sea is too heavy, too costly. We take noses and ears instead, salting them in barrels. Accounting for Kyoto. We don't steal gold, we steal potters. Korean porcelain is worth more than life itself. The War of Teacups. Hideyoshi dies. We flee Korea. The war is lost. So many dead for a void. At home, the vultures gather. A power vacuum. 5 elders vie for the throne. The alpha predator is Tokugawa Ieyasu. The old fox has waited his entire life for this. 1600, Sekigahara. Japan is split between east and west. You must pick the winner, or your clan vanishes. The morning of the battle, thick fog. You can't see your own hand. You hear the thunder of thousands of feet, but you don't know if they are friend or foe. Kobayakawa sits silent on the hill. Ieyasu fires cannons at him just to wake him up. Kobayakawa chooses betrayal. The Western army is shattered. Traitors strike the flank. It isn't a battle, it's an execution. Heads fall like cabbages. 1603. The war is over. My sword is retired to the rack. My children are no longer warriors. They are bureaucrats in silk. We build a new capital, Edo. Yesterday a swamp, tomorrow the largest city on earth. Samurai become project managers. To prevent rebellion, the shogun mandates Senkin Kotai, alternate attendance. Daimyo live in Edo every other year, their wives kept as permanent hostages. Society freezes. Warrior, peasant, artisan, merchant. You are at the top, but the merchant at the bottom holds all the gold. You wear two swords, but you only ever use a brush. You are an official. Your enemy is a tax report on rice. Miyamoto Musashi was the exception, a rebel genius who broke every rule. Two swords against the world. Steel rusts without blood. Tamashijiri, testing a blade's edge on the corpses of criminals, or on a living vagrant if no one is watching. The two clan are demons, the last who remember real war. Now, their crimson armor is just a parade uniform. Dull. You head to the Yoshiwara Pleasure District. Here, the samurai and the merchant are equal, provided you have the coin, which you don't. Don't be mistaken, a geisha sells art, not her body. She pours sake and plays the shamisen. Platonic love at a premium. The value of your rice stipend plummets. You pawn your grandfather's blade to a moneylender just to eat. Shame? No, survival. No son. Your clan loses its income. You adopt a son-in-law, or even a grown man. Anything to preserve the family name and the rice ration. 1637. Christian peasants revolt. One last chance for glory, but you've forgotten how to hold a spear. Shame. We couldn't take their fort by storm. We had to starve them out. A heroic victory over emaciated women and children. The Japanese Inquisition, Fumii, step on the image of Christ. Refuse, and we boil you alive. The shogun seals the borders. Sakoku. No one in, no one out. Building a seafaring ship carries the death penalty. Only the Dutch are permitted to trade, confined to the tiny island of Dejima. We watch them like caged beasts in a zoo. The way of the samurai is death. The Hagakure was written by a clerk who never saw a fight, an 18th century armchair warrior. Seppuku. Rip the belly open from left to right, then upward. The entrails spill. It is agonizingly painful and gore-soaked. It is nothing like the movies. You cannot die beautifully alone. You need a kaishakunin, a friend to take your head before you start screaming. The master must leave the head hanging by a thin strip of skin so it doesn't roll toward the audience. The aesthetics of death. Later, we lost our nerve. We swapped the knife for a fan. Touch the fan to your stomach, and the head is taken. No pain required. The 47 Ronin. A legend. For 2 years, they played the drunkards to lull their enemy into a false sense of security and avenge their lord. Are they heroes? Yes, but they broke the law. The shogun ordered them all to commit seppuku. Honor is honor, but order is absolute. With no war left, the samurai crave adrenaline. They join the fire brigades, fighting blazes and rival crews with hooks. This is the new front line. Tattoos were once the mark of a criminal, but firefighters and gamblers turned them into art. The birth of the Yakuza. Kabuki theater, samurai obsess over the actors. Actors are the new superstars. Fashion, slang, hairstyles, it all starts there. 200 years of isolation. We slept while the world moved on. My great-great-grandson polishes a rusted heirloom. 1853, The Awakening. My descendant looks at the horizon in terror. The black ships of the USA, steam-powered demons. Their cannons reach 3 kilometers. We have rusted matchlocks. We realized then, our spirit was powerless against physics. The shogun signed the treaty. We opened the ports. Foreigners walk our soil like conquerors. Our pride is trampled. Sano joy. Revere the emperor, expel the barbarians. The young samurai want blood. Foreigners are cut down in the streets. Haidokiri, the manslayers, emerge. Mercenary assassins for the patriots. They butcher shogunate officials in broad daylight. To protect Kyoto, the shogun creates the Shinsengumi, the wolves of Mibu, a squad of low-born swordsmen ready to die for the old regime. The Aikdaya incident. We stormed the inn where conspirators planned to burn Kyoto to the ground. 2 hours of hacking in the dark. The Shinsengumi code. Attempt to flee? Seppuku. Lose a battle? Seppuku. We killed our own more often than the enemy. Sakamoto Ryoma. He wore a samurai's sword but walked in American boots. He wanted to reconcile rivals and build a navy. Peacemakers don't last long. Ryoma was murdered in an inn. By whom? Shinsengumi? Ninja? History kept the killers in the shadows. The shogun turns to the French. They teach us to march and wear kepis. Samurai in striped trousers. It looks ridiculous. Dr. Gatling sends a gift, a machine gun. Crank the handle, and 200 rounds a minute scream out. Honor? Forget it. This is mathematics. 1868, the Battle of Toba Fushimi. The shogun's army, 15,000. The emperor's, 5,000. We thought numbers would prevail. Then the enemy raised the brocade banner, the symbol of the emperor himself. To fire upon it was to become a traitor to Japan. We froze. Shogun Yoshinobu fled on a ship to Edo, leaving his army to rot. Our leader betrayed us. Loyalty lost its meaning. The imperial troops wear strange wigs of yak hair, the Red Bears. They look absurd, but they shoot straight. Armstrong guns fire explosive shells. The wooden walls of castles are reduced to splinters. The Azu clan, the most loyal of all, they chose death over surrender. Women, children, everyone took up arms. The Byakutai, teenagers saw smoke and thought the castle had fallen. It was a tragic mistake. The remnants of the fleet fled north to Hokkaido, establishing the Republic of Ezo. The first democracy in Japan? No, the last stronghold. May 1869, the final stand. Our fleet is crushed. The French have sailed home. We are alone against all of Japan. There is no hope. Hijikata Toshizo, the vicious deputy of the Shinsengumi, refused to yield. He charged the machine guns alone. Death in battle is a mercy compared to captivity. The Republic fell. We surrendered the fortress. Seppuku was banned. We were simply thrown into prison. To be alive was a humiliation. The toll of the Boshin War, 18 months of slaughter. Shogunate losses, 15,000. Imperial, 4,000. Music, technology conquered the spirit. 1871, the Dampit Suriyai Edict. Cut off the top knot. Everyone must dress and groom like Europeans. You weep, but you cut it. 1876, the Heitoriai Edict. The ban on swords. Your soul, your katana, is now illegal to carry. You are a nobody. Seigo Takamori once broke the shogun, but now he stands against the machine. The enemy of my enemy. I will stand with him for the old Japan. Shiroyama, 30,000 imperial troops with cannons against 500 samurai with swords. This wasn't a battle, it was the disposal of a caste. The result of Shiroyama, 500 corpses. The imperial army lost 30 men. The sword finally lost to the howitzer. Seigo is wounded. He commits seppuku. His head was hidden so the enemy could never claim it. With him, the era of the samurai died. Now, all in Japan are equal. The son of a peasant and the son of a daimyo wear the same uniform, eat the same rice, and die from the same bullet. Where did the samurai go? They joined the police. Beating people with sticks is still legal. The habits remained, but the baton replaced the katana. The shrewd samurai, like Iwasaki Yataro, founded corporations like Mitsubishi. Trading steel is more profitable than swinging it. Your daughters no longer embroider. They work 14-hour shifts in silk factories. The industrialization of Japan was built by their hands. 1894, war with China. The new Japanese army crushed an ancient empire. We proved we are not Asia. We are the West. Why did the samurai vanish? Economics. Maintaining one samurai cost as much as 20 conscripts with rifles. 1899, Naitobe Inatso writes Bushido, a book for the West. He fabricated half of the ancient traditions to impress Europeans. 20th century, officers need swords. Gunto. These aren't handcrafted. They are stamped out of railroad tracks. Mass-produced souvenirs. They called World War II the way of the warrior. Kamikazes died not for a clan, but for an emperor. The samurai spirit was forged into a propaganda tool. Today, the samurai is a cinematic ghost. Kurosawa. 7 Samurai. We love the myth, but we forget the filth, the betrayal, and the severed noses. You are a salaryman, an office warrior. Your daimyo is your boss. But in your shadow, the spirit of a killer still lingers. The Yakuza claim the heritage. They sever pinkies for their failures, yubitsum. But they are thugs, not warriors. A parody. The art of killing has become a sport, kendo. We strike each other with bamboo sticks and scream. It is safe. You visit a museum. The armor of the great heroes is tiny. The average samurai stood only 155 centimeters tall. The giants were actually dwarves. The world knows us through anime, where we fly, slice through tanks, and have pink hair. A beautiful lie that everyone embraces. Who were you? A killer for a bowl of rice, a turncoat, or a man of honor? History washed away the grime, leaving only the legend.